And we're back.
Welcome back to Beyond the Science podcast.
I'm your co-host, Omar Hamuda.
And I'm your fellow co-host, Kiera Lee.
And today, I actually know what we're going to be talking about.
Why don't you
We're
start
gonna
us off?
Okay. We're going to be talking about how to be confident when it comes to a bigger project, right? Did I say it right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So, this is a topic of mine that I was really excited about because here's the thing that I've been like throughout my career, whether it be an architect or a filmmaker or a photographer, I've been always thrown on big projects. And the way you build confidence with that is really just to assert your dominance and not in the necessary sense where it's like, I'm a man, I know what I'm doing. No, it's more like you have the skills, you have the capability, apply the knowledge that you've learned throughout your past or apply the knowledge you've learned even if it's like a quick YouTube tutorial and literally like the sky's the limit because here's the thing that people in tend to get whenever they start a project, right? Or a big project. Let's focus on big projects is that they assume that they're not going to be good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. Don't assume that you're not going to be good enough. Assume that you already know what you're doing and take it as if it was just another day, another because it is essentially another day in your life, right?
Absolutely.
And like I said before, like I don't have any anxiety or stress in my life, so I'm able to go about my day and actually perform well because at the end of the day, and also there's so many factors when it comes to bigger projects, right? And we get caught up in these factors, but know at the like literally put those aside and know that you just need to do a good job for yourself. Like enjoy the process. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where a lot of people struggle with when it comes to bigger projects is because it's that anxiety block, right? And now it's not like this whole episode I'm going to talk about how to fix your anxiety or become stress free like me, but it's more or less like it's about the mindset and turning it off for just a split second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as somebody who does have a lot of anxiety in general and within the industry, you do I agree, you do kind of have to learn how to not necessarily turn it off. I guess that would be like the best way of saying it, but I just kind of go in there and I take a deep breath, and if I'm feeling intimidated, if I feel like I don't know why I'm in the room, I don't know why I was chosen for the project, you have to remember everything you've done to get you to where you are today. And kind of run through that in your head and until you're able to say in your head, like, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in this room because you know what? I've experienced XYZ. I've done this project and that project that I'm really proud of that I think turned out really well. And because of that, I think I'm going to be able to do the same with this project. And it's not me turning off my anxiety, but it's just me realizing in the grand scheme of things that, like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I love to do. This is what I feel I'm called to do in my life, and I'm here for a reason, you know?
Right. And actually, I'm going to argue with that for a second.
Okay.
And here's why. And it might seem shocking. It's like, we're building up your confidence. We're telling you like all your self worth, like you've done this, that. That's the problem. People think, or generally, people put themselves at a higher pedestal or other people at a higher pedestal because of this whole notion that I'm worth this, right? But what if we did it this way? That we're all equal in the room. Like we're all equal and we're going to work on a project. Like for me, I never have the mindset where, oh, I worked on this project. I know I'm going to do this.
No, I don't mean it in an overconfident,
No,
cocky
but that's
way.
no, but I'm not even saying in a cocky way. Because here's the thing. When it comes to projects and people ask me, oh, like you've done this before. I'm like, yeah, but keep in mind, it's a new project. Like I don't tell them like, oh, I'm able to do it. Like I'm confidently, of course, I'm confident that I'm able to do it, but it's more in a sense where I don't take new projects as if like they're another like project to add onto my repertoire. It's more or less like, hey, here's a new project. Let's see where I can take it. Cause like it's funny, one of the interviews I had, I told the guy, I have a portfolio, but I don't like showing it. And they're like, why not? I'm like, because what I've done yesterday or the years before, I don't know if I'm able to do it nowadays or not. And you want to see how well I am now rather than seeing the work I've done in the past and see if I'm capable of doing it.
The only way in that situation, though, to know if you're capable is just to trust you. And with a big budget, sometimes that's not always necessarily what's going to be possible.
And that's why for me, I I talk to them in a confident way. And that's where like I'm telling you, like my anxieties don't kick in, nor my and I
Right.
know I know it makes no sense at all. And it's funny because like we talk about like building a portfolio. We talk about this, but we get so caught up into it that sometimes we forget how to do it in the first place
Mhm.
or how to create. We're just mentioning, oh, I used to like at parties or like at events when we meet new people. I like I mentioned, oh, I've done work for this, that, right? But here's the thing, like if I keep mentioning those, I feel like you start to build this thing where it's like, um, where it gets caught up into everyone's head that then you get scared. It's like, oh, what if I'm not able to do it? You get me?
The point that I wanted to make there was not to be telling people, "Oh, I've done this project and I've worked with this person." It's it's the fact that if you walk into a room and you're walking into a project and you don't feel like you're good enough to be there and you don't understand why you're even there, and in your head you're saying to yourself, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a good job on this project because there are so many other people in this room who are more experienced than me, who have been in the game longer than me. It's about that, correcting that self-doubt. So I'm not saying go preach to this person or that person, "Oh, I've worked here, I've done this." It's about saying to yourself,
Right.
"Hey, I realize, that I might be intimidated in this situation. But if I look back on everything I've accomplished, I don't think there's any reason for me to be intimidated." And I think I have to approach this as where we come together here as a new project, a new day, a new opportunity to learn and grow and be better than the last. But the fact that, if I'm feeling any self-doubt about why I'm there, in my own head, not to anybody else, in my own head, I'm saying to myself, you know, I'm here for a reason. I'm here because I've been able to produce projects in the past that I'm proud of, and I believe that I can still do that today and moving forward from today in the future.
Mm.
And that's kind of the direction I was going with
Right, right.
that.
Yeah. I guess like what I was trying to elaborate, and I probably didn't explain it right because I went off on a tangent. You know the saying of if you're nervous, imagine everyone in the crowd in their underwear.
Mhm.
For me, it's more or less like I don't imagine. I know for a fact these people are basically exactly like me. Not necessarily like we all think the same, is that we all have our insecurities. We all have our doubts. We all have our accomplishments. So to me, it's just another day, a new client.
Mhm.
That's how I take big projects. Like I don't let the I guess the limelight like scare me or like the fact that it's a do or die project. Like you've seen the corporations I work for and I walk in there like as if like I'm part of them because at the end of the day, we are all human beings who are on this earth. And I don't mean to sound like a humanitarian. Like
No, it's
here's
it's really true, and I very much agree with that part of what you're saying. And I agree with the fact that I think that that might have been all along maybe your main objective, what you were trying to get across.
Mhm.
Um Absolutely. That is such an important thing to remember when you're walking into a project or a room with people who, you know, you may look up to, you may be intimidated by, or you may not feel that you have the experience to be in the same room as that person,
Right, right,
you definitely have to remember that we're all humans and
right,
we've all gone through periods of time feeling like we're not supposed to be in the room, but we are.
right, right. And it's actually funny because like talked about like not feeling like you're supposed to be in the room, and then the other side where it's like you're too arrogant to be in the room, and that's a dangerous place to be
It's
in
a
because
danger, yes,
like
obviously.
I've had people come up to me who I've sent out to gigs like, oh, they don't understand, like blah blah blah, like they're just. I'm like, listen, they're a client and treat them with respect because they at the end of the day they see a different perspective than what we see,
Mhm.
right? Listen to them because they know what they're talking about, but at the same time, input your creative value and have the creative like progress or the creative journey take its place.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's where like my philosophy of imagine everyone or know that everyone in the room is equal to you in the sense where they're just a human being who has their insecurity, they have their ego, they have their achievements, they have their secrets that they're trying to hide from you. And like literally that's I take it to face value.
And I think a really good thing to note that aligns well with what you I think were getting across is that, you know, you should absolutely come into every room and every project being exactly who you are, being the person that you were the day before and the person that you're going to be tomorrow. Obviously that doesn't mean that you stop evolving or learning at any point, but just coming in the room with the same morals, the same standards for yourself, the same respect for other people, and knowing I'm here for a reason. I was not picked because these people didn't think I could do the job. You know, I'm here to do what I love and create content that I'm proud of, create a product that I think is inspiring and worth it. And just know that, there's a purpose for all that. And as long as you come into the room and leave the room as somebody that you're proud of, then that's all that matters because that'll show the client, they'll notice that.
No,
They'll
absolutely.
leave the room saying, "Wow, I really appreciate that
Absolutely.
person handled this situation that way or carried themselves in that way."
Absolutely. And it really comes to show like we talk about being being equal and stuff, but at the same time, like you can learn a thing or two from your clients that you didn't learn about like know before.